Welcome to this presentation on recording narration with Audacity. Our objectives for this lecture is to prepare your computer for audio recording, set audio recording levels in Audacity, test voice level, record audio narration directly into Audacity, save audio files to computer drive for use in multimedia projects. Now that Audacity is installed on my machine, I'm going to go ahead and open it. And here's our main window for Audacity. One thing you might notice is this particular window likes to sit on top. All you have to do to connect that to your overall Audacity is to drop it down here, and it becomes part of the overall window, so that thing's not floating above everything else. We'll get to using this window in the next presentation, so we're not going to bother with that too much right now. The main things we're going to want to look at is setting up our computer first. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to my system preferences. I'm on a Mac. It's a little bit different on a PC. On a PC, you will go into your user files and you'll find your audio recorder to find where to set your sound levels. On my computer, I'm going to go to my external microphone, which I have plugged in. And I'm wearing a headset right now, but it is basically an external microphone. And I'm going to check my levels here. Now I want consistent levels through all of my programs, so this sound level here is going to interact with Audacity ultimately. So I want to make sure it's not too high. Notice that where it's set now, it's pretty good. It's a little less than half, but if you see the audio meter, it's topping out in about 3/4 range with an occasional peak at the end if I hit a high note. So this is a pretty good setting. If I want to adjust it, I can just move this slider to get the level that I want. So now that I have that set up, I'm ready to get started in Audacity. Audacity, one thing I want to start with is Audacity has really good help menus. So if you go to help and you quick help in the web menu, everything you need is right here. Audacity, getting started, tutorials, all these lists of things, help with advanced topics. Audacity comes with really great support. For a free piece of software, you can't beat Audacity. The other nice thing about Audacity is it doesn't download a bunch of extra crud to your machine like many free softwares do. And it also doesn't come with loads of advertisements either. So this is very much worth the money you're going to spend on it, which is basically nothing. So just so you know that those help pages are there and easy to get to, because you'll want to use them later on. I'm going to give you the basics today, and then as you work with Audacity and practice with it, you can start adding tools as you go. First thing we want to do is just record our own voice. Or, in the case that you have somebody else you're working with that has a good voice that you want to use, how to record their voice. So ultimately, we're setting up the main windows, the main things we're going to use right here. Here's pause, play, stop, rewind, fast forward, or it'll go to the end, beginning and end, and then, of course, record. Now, the interesting thing about the record button is that if you hit record, it automatically opens a track and starts recording. So I don't want to do that yet. I want to make sure that when I start recording, when I open a track, that it doesn't start recording immediately. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, the first button I'm going to hit is pause. So notice my pause button is on, and now I'm going to hit record. Notice when I hover over the record button, it says record shift for append record. I'll tell you what that means in a minute, but I'm just going to go ahead and hit this. I notice it automatically opened an audio track for me. I didn't have to add a new one. So in this case, I'm ready to record. And since it's on pause, you don't see anything happening here. The reason I wanted to do that, if you notice my microphone level here, I want to make sure that it's at about the same level as we just set in the machine preferences. So I have about, it actually looks a little high to me right now, so if you look over here, here's my volume slider. Obviously I don't want to go too high because notice it's pinned to the end there, 0. So what I'm going to get there is a lot of distortion. And if I come down here, nothing. So I want to find a nice balance in here so that I can get about 3/4 of the way most of the time I'm talking. And if it occasionally peaks at the end at the 0 there, it's okay. But you definitely don't want it there all the time. So I think I'm at a good level right now for recording. So the next thing you want to do is make sure that you have your script handy and be ready to record. So I'm going to go ahead and record, and I'm going to purposely make a couple of mistakes so that in the next presentation we can talk about how to edit those mistakes out and how to fix certain things within the audio track. So ready to record. To start recording, I can just turn the pause off and we're ready to go. Stopping by woods on a snowy evening. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me. Okay, let me do that line again. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit pause to stop. Now, the reason I hit pause is if I want to keep recording, say I wanted to read that whole poem, I just did the first stanza, but if I wanted to read the whole thing, but I wanted to take a break, I can hit pause, take a rest, and then I can, work on my lines, and then I can start recording again. In the case when you're done recording, what you ultimately do is hit the stop button here. So if I hit the stop button, notice that my microphone level is off and that nothing else is happening with this file. Now, to listen to this back, I can just click at the beginning and hit play. Okay, let me do that line again. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. Okay, so we have a nice little recording to get started with. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about, if we scroll back, we can see the entire piece that we just recorded. The other thing I wanted to talk about now, I mentioned before appending recording. So if I want to keep recording in this file after I've hit stop, I mentioned that the record button says record shift to append. Now if I hit record now, I'm going to go ahead and hit this just to show you what happens. Notice it makes another track. So if you keep doing that, you'll have all these different tracks. Now you might want to do that, say you're working on a PowerPoint presentation and you want to do lines for each individual slide, which actually you're going to do on this project. So you can read your lines for the one slide, make a new track, read your lines for the next slide, another track, read your lines for the next slide, so on and so forth. That's a good way to keep them separate. But in the case, now say I don't want to use this, I can just go ahead and delete that particular piece of audio. Let's say I just want to append here. I can go ahead and put it at the end, and I can hit pause. And now if I hold down the shift and hit record, notice it's set back up in this same audio track to start recording again. So the next thing I want to show you how to do before we're done with this is I'm going to go ahead and hit stop. Now say I wanted to save this piece of audio, this piece of audio track. I could do file, I could do export, and then I would want to save this, and I would find, I'll just use the desktop as an example, and then I would save as. Now notice down here it gives you different options. I'm on an Apple machine, so it automatically is giving me a preference of AIFF, 16-bit PCM. And you want to record and save your files at the highest level. You can always make them MP3s later, but the best way to go is with the high end. See, you have all these selections here. The most popular ones, MP3 gives you a smaller file, which is good for the internet if you're going to post your files on the internet. The two main ones are Apple, Microsoft, Wave. And even though I'm on the Mac, I can save these as WAV files, and that's what I'm going to pick, is a WAV file. So I'll go ahead and save that, and I'm just going to save this on my desktop as test. Click save, and then it gives you can add metadata to this, so you can write the name, track, title. And what this does is say you recorded a song and you wanted to post it on the internet. When somebody goes to download that music, they can get this information off of the music. I'm not going to add anything here because it's not really important at this point in time. I'll click OK. And that went really quick because it's a small file. Now, if you have a big long file, it might take a little while for that file to save. I'm just going to minimize my window here and show you that we have a file. And now I can open this and play it back. I can open it in iTunes. I don't want to do that because it'll load in my iTunes. I'm going to go ahead and open it with QuickTime. Play it back. Stopping by woods on a snowy evening. Okay, so there I have an audio file, and I can take this file and I can use it to drop into a PowerPoint project. I just, import it or drag and drop, however you want to put your audio files into your PowerPoint. That's the file that you use. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do in the next video you're going to watch is we're going to take this file, we're going to edit it, and then we're going to add some music to it. So stay tuned.